I love outfits. I love whenever a new character is introduced because they so often have a super cute design. And at the forefront of cute designs, we have Team RWBY, who are all cohesive and look great. RWBY's black dress looks sleek with her red hood, and also keeps her from becoming a big red blob on screen. Her long sleeves and dark tights means we can always see her limbs against her cape. Weiss looks elegant, yet still viable for combat. The angular nature of her outfit and things like her sleeves and her shoes gives the feeling of icicles, pushing the Schnee logo and her originally cold nature. The red lining on her collar not only adds a little color, but also helps us identify where her head is when she starts doing all her flips. Blake's long-tailed vest looks French-inspired, alluding to the place of origin for the fairy tale she's based on, the Beauty and the Beast. The allocation of whites and blacks means we never lose her body. The white shirt and shorts keeps her figure from getting lost in her hair, and by keeping her arms exposed, we never lose sight of them either. Yang's lopsided design with her uneven socks and skirt thing keep her from looking too static with her weapons, while also subtly hinting at how lopsided her design becomes later. Her shorts and low-cut shirt push the party girl vibe, but her leather coat and high boots keep her feeling well prepared for combat. Their use of color means they all look good standing next to each other, while their hair and outfits are all distinct enough to keep them looking unique. You can immediately recognize each character at a glance. Even with a shared color palette, their individual ones are easily identifiable, assisting in the viewer's ability to recognize each character when the action cranks up. However, with the passage of time, Team RWBY has changed into some new looks, and while I can't firmly say I hate them, I also find them to be less impressive than before. RWBY's new look is the one I consider to be the most successful of the four. Lots of dark still, with red accents that don't overpower her palette. I'm not a fan of her boob window, mostly because her shirt's such a similar color to her skin it's easy to miss, making it feel unnecessary. Her biggest problem is all the belts. 5 on one shoe, 2 on the other, a couple doing nothing on her sleeves. They all just feel superfluous and keep her outfit from being streamlined. Weiss looks cold and closed off, which is good for her stay at the Schnee Manor in Volume 4. I like that her collar looks like it's kind of choking her, like her dad's orders, but I'm disappointed that it sort of ruins her silhouette, which until now has featured a lot of color. I get the dark colors, but I wish it had more white on it, and ultimately it just does not look good for combat. It seems to be really weak, thin material. Blake's new design just confuses me. Why bundle up in a big coat if you're staying on a tropical island? Why have so much loose materials and such high heels if you're supposed to be a ninja? Don't get me wrong, it is cute, but it just doesn't seem to have had any forethought put into it in regards to the character's fighting style and location. Honestly, by simply removing the coat and the purple belt across her chest, this look would be a clear winner, featuring her color without covering it with all that white, while also being sensible for the warmer locale. Yang's new look is the worst in my opinion. The patchwork look of the leather on her jacket feels piecemeal together and haphazard. She's got way too many different colors on her, and overall, it seems to be purely fashion over function, for both the character and the animators. Her gloves get in the way when she tries to use her weapons, so she had to remove them. Her coattails seems to have been a problem for the animation team, so they ditched those too. However, without the coattails, Yang becomes top-heavy, with a lot going on her torso, with next to no detail or volume in her legs. Overall, the biggest detriment to these new designs is the amount of needless detail in them. Whether it's 14 belts, or excessive neck jewelry, or unnecessary layers, or 9 different colors, too much is how I would describe these new looks. It feels like iink just didn't know when to stop, or like Miles and Carrie kept pushing for more. Just simplifying these looks could pull them into the iconic category along with their predecessors. However, even with an iconic makeover, there's still a hurdle most of the characters in the show need to conquer. Easily identifiable design, or lack thereof. The most successful designs only require some simple shapes to identify, some even only needing a color palette. This is where some of RWBY's characters fall short. We're only going to be looking at Team RWBY today, but all this applies to the main supporting cast as well. Now, of our 4 girls, RWBY and Weiss are pretty good. RWBY's cape is big and easy to see, and a unique element in her design. It doesn't matter if the hood's up or down, when you see the cape, you know it's her. Weiss's long side ponytail does this too. It's not a common hair color or style, which makes her quick to identify. While I dig the idea of RWBY's cast getting new clothes, this is a big contributor to this identification problem I've proposed. We can't rely on their clothes being consistent like how other designs can. RWBY's original black and red palette was great, but is no longer accurate. Weiss's silhouette is way different with her new look, meaning it also can't be considered in terms of identification. And these problems don't just affect RWBY and Weiss. In fact, of the team, RWBY and Weiss are the least affected in terms of color palette and silhouette. Where Blake's previous outfit's use of white helped to break up all the blacks on her, they seem to have taken it too far with her new one. Her thigh-highs are purple, her coat is white. All of the black of her gear has been covered up. Not only does her jacket look too warm for menagerie, but it also ruins her silhouette. Her legs get lost in her coattails. All of the bits and details keep her from being easily rendered, and overall, the new design has almost nothing in common with her old one. It feels like this look could have been made for any character, rather than being fashioned for Blake specifically. The only element designed between them that's consistent is her head, which is the exact same problem Yang has. Her colors and silhouette are inconsistent between outfits, just like Blake, leaving her head as the only way we can try to identify her. Unfortunately, being a long-haired blonde is one of the least unique designs available. Look at all these heads. They're all different characters. Can you identify which one's Yang? Extra detail is necessary to begin to really identify these characters. RWBY and Weiss's new designs change up their palettes and silhouettes, but there's still enough elements of design on them that helps them look unique. Yang looks like 10 other characters, and Blake's new clothes make her look like a totally different one. While I love getting to see the girls in new outfits, it just means their designs are no longer identifiable, which in all honesty isn't a horrible thing. There are plenty of popular characters who aren't easily identifiable, it just means they're often overcomplicated or inconsistent. I just find it a shame that the girls were so iconic and easy to define, but their new looks stole that distinction away from them. But hey, there is a plus side to the new outfit system. New designs denote growth. Yang didn't put on her new getup until she had recovered enough at Patch. Ilya's sudden change to the good guys got her a new look too. As much as I love getting to see the girls in new clothes, I'd love it even more if the writers leaned into having them change as they grow as well. Let's have fun for a bit and imagine how RT could have allowed the whole of Team RWBY to get an outfit upgrade like how they did for Yang, where every girl gets a new outfit revealed throughout their adventure without changing the plot of volumes 4 through 6 at all. RWBY would be the first. Instead of just Jean getting an upgrade at the blacksmith, why not let the whole team reveal their new looks at the same time? RWBY's character short in the first half of the episode could keep the kids in their old outfits, and then they all get to gear up at the village. This would tell the audience that this is the start of a new chapter of the adventure, not in school anymore, while also representing the kids' resolve to take this journey seriously. And while we're all freaking out about Ranger's new looks, we'd then cut to Weiss in her new outfit, leading the audience to getting excited to see how all the girls look now. In this version of the show, I would want Blake to start off without her coat. For the entirety of Volume 4, she'd look the same, but without the jacket. She went home to rest, as so she doesn't need to worry about how protective her clothes are. A tank top would be a comfortable choice for taking a break on a tropical island. The next one to get their new design would be Yang, changing into her combat gear at the end of Volume 4, just like how she already does. After that is Blake. We wouldn't see her with the coat until Volume 5, Episode 13, where she arrives with the Faunus at Haven. In a perfect world, her coat wouldn't have the extra long tails and wouldn't cover up all the black of her tank top, but we're not here to redesign the girl, so we'll just let that go. With her new decision to confront Adam and defend Haven, adding her coat makes her feel more protected and ready for combat, and gets her ready for the cold weather in Atlas. Last but not least is Weiss. Weiss's dress fits at the manor. There's no issue with her looking so not combat ready while she's stuck at home. She'd also stayed the same throughout Volume 5. She wasn't expecting her ship to crash, to get kidnapped by bandits, or to get caught in a trap by Lionheart. She's had no reason to expect combat, and so wouldn't be prepared for it. Getting stabbed would change that. With the new goal of get the next relic, Weiss's inefficient attire should be clear. Rather than simply wearing a red scarf sometimes, I would have Weiss totally change at the start of Volume 6. A new, more protective outfit now that she and the team are heading out on their adventure. Having the characters adopt new looks as they grow is a fun way to incorporate design into development, and with a fanbase that loves to do fan art and cosplay of all the different looks the girls have, it's a good way to keep the audience invested and engaged. Clearly I have some issues with Team RWBY's current apparel, but they really aren't bad. They lack some cohesion and consistency, and aren't as strong in terms of design as the originals, but to be fair, they had some big shoes to fill. It makes sense that I find the new designs weaker, since the originals were so good. I'm not sure they could have presented us with some new outfits that could top the iconic looks the girls started in. It's hard to see improvement when the first run was the best. I'm excited for Volume 7 to roll around, as I hope it'll come with some new looks for the girls. I'm not sure I'll find them better than the original looks, or even better than their current ones, but getting to see how these characters evolve through their designs will be a fun development to watch either way. Would you like to hear some more in-depth discussion on how iconic RWBY's two looks are? Then check out Allison RU's video comparing design with RWBY and Nier. And if you've already seen that, why not check out the Judgmental Critters video on a critical overview of multiple aspects of the characters throughout RWBY.